ancient myths that were actually true? What if I told you that some of the most fantastical stories from ancient civilizations, tales of great floods, lost cities, and mythical creatures, were not just the product of human imagination, but actual memories of real events? Today, we are diving into the fascinating intersection of mythology and archaeology, where modern science has validated legends that were dismissed for centuries as pure fantasy. Welcome to Beyond Now, where we explore the threads that connect our past to our future. I am your host, and today we are asking how many myths are actually historical memories in disguise. The Great Flood, a global memory. Let us start with perhaps the most universal myth of all, the Great Flood. From Noah's Ark to the Greek story of Deucalion, from Hindu texts to Native American legends, nearly every ancient culture has a story about a catastrophic flood that nearly wiped out humanity. For centuries, scholars assumed these were just moral tales or explanations for natural phenomena. But then, marine archaeologist Robert Ballard, yes, the same person who found the Titanic, made a startling discovery in the Black Sea. Using advanced sonar technology, Ballard found evidence of a massive flood that occurred over 7,000 years ago. The Black Sea, once a freshwater lake, was suddenly and catastrophically flooded when rising Mediterranean waters broke through what is now the Bosphorus Strait. The water level rose by hundreds of feet, submerging vast coastal settlements. Dr. Irving Finkel's research suggests that a devastating Mesopotamian flood was so traumatic that the story spread through oral tradition for centuries before being recorded in various mythologies. Think about it, an event so catastrophic that it became embedded in the collective memory of our species, passed down through generations until it became legend. This raises a profound question. What other myths are actually humanity's oldest historical records? Lost cities found, Troy, when Homer was not just telling stories. For over a millennium, Troy was considered pure fiction, a beautiful story crafted by Homer to explore themes of love, war, and heroism. Then, in the 19th century, German archaeologist Heinrich Schliemann did something radical. He took Homer literally. Using the Iliad as his guide, Schliemann excavated a site in modern-day Turkey and discovered not just one Troy, but evidence of at least 10 cities built on the same location. Each had been destroyed and rebuilt, suggesting that the mythological Troy was based on a real place that experienced repeated cycles of destruction and renewal. The Palace of Nesta, archaeological precision. Even more impressive is Homer's description of King Nestor's palace in Pylos. When American archaeologist Carl Blegen discovered its remains in 1939, the layout matched Homer's description with startling accuracy. The excavations, which continued until 1966, revealed a complex that included the exact features Homer had described centuries earlier. In 2015, researchers from the University of Cincinnati made an even more remarkable discovery nearby, the Griffin Warrior Tomb, dated to around 1450 before the Common Era, and filled with treasures that seem to leap straight from the pages of ancient epics. Atlantis, the Minoan connection. Now, Atlantis is trickier. Plato's account was likely a philosophical allegory, but it may have been inspired by real events. The volcanic eruption that transformed the island of Santorini into an archipelago created tsunamis that devastated the advanced Minoan civilization around 1600 before the Common Era. Picture this, a sophisticated Bronze Age civilization with advanced art, architecture, and maritime technology suddenly destroyed by a volcanic catastrophe. The survivors' stories of this lost paradise could easily have inspired Plato's tale of Atlantis, mythical creatures with real origins, sea monsters, the giant squid. Ancient sailors told tales of massive sea monsters, creatures so large they could drag entire ships to the depths. The Greeks spoke of Scylla and Charybdis, while Norse mythology described the Kraken. For centuries, these were dismissed as the fantasies of sailors who had spent too long at sea. Then, in 2004, scientists managed to photograph a giant squid in its natural habitat for the first time. These creatures can reach lengths of at least 33 feet, and weigh over 400 pounds, with the largest specimen discovered measuring 59 feet long and weighing nearly a ton. Imagine being an ancient sailor and encountering one of these creatures. Your myth would suddenly seem very, very real. Amazon warriors. The archaeological evidence. The Greek myth of Amazon warrior women was considered pure fiction, a story created to explore themes of gender and power. Then, in 2020, archaeologists in Russia discovered graves of 4 women warriors buried with their weapons, ranging in age from 12 to 50 years old. These warriors were likely Scythian nomads who roamed areas from the Black Sea to Mongolia. They may have been among the tribes that the Great Wall of China was built to repel. The mythical Amazons were not mythical at all. They were real women who challenged ancient gender norms through their warrior culture. Divine mysteries with scientific explanations. The Oracle at Delphi. Ancient neuroscience. The Oracle at Delphi was one of the most important religious sites in ancient Greece. The Pythia, the oracle's priestess, would inhale vapors from a crack in the rock and enter prophetic trances, delivering cryptic messages believed to come from Apollo himself. When the temple was excavated in the late 1800s, researchers discovered the scientific truth behind the divine vapors. They were actually pockets of carbon dioxide from seismic activity. The priests likely held their breath to avoid the toxic effects while appearing to survive divine intervention. This reveals something fascinating about ancient peoples. They were not primitive or superstitious. They were observing real phenomena and creating explanatory frameworks that made sense within their worldview. The gates of hell, plutonium. Ancient accounts described a cave where priests could survive deadly vapors that killed animals during religious ceremonies. After the cave was rediscovered in 2011, studies revealed the gas was carbon dioxide from seismic activity. The priests survived by holding their breath, creating the illusion of divine protection. Oral traditions as time capsules, Aboriginal volcanic memories. Perhaps the most remarkable example comes from northeastern Australia, where Aboriginal oral traditions describe a massive explosion followed by acrid dust that killed anyone who walked into it, with boiling air and fires along rivers and coasts. Researchers discovered that these accounts perfectly match the eruption of Kinrara, a now extinct volcano. The incredible part is that the stories have been passed down for thousands of years with such accuracy that they serve as geological records of actual volcanic activity. This demonstrates something profound about human memory and storytelling. Under the right conditions, eyewitness accounts can survive for millennia through oral tradition, ancient technology, Archimedes' heat ray, myth or reality. The legendary heat ray that Archimedes supposedly used to set Roman ships ablaze during the siege of Syracuse was long considered impossible. Then, in 1973, Greek scientist Ioannis Sakkas successfully set a mock Roman ship on fire using mirrors. While the television show Mythbusters could not replicate the experiment under their conditions, a 13-year-old named Brendan Senner created a successful mini version in 2023, proving that the physics, at least, are sound. The Golden Fleece, ancient mining techniques. Jason's quest for the Golden Fleece in the kingdom of Colchis appears to be based on an actual gold mining technique. In Georgia's Svaneti region, farmers have traditionally used sheepskins to strain and capture gold nuggets from rivers and streams, a method passed down for thousands of years. The mythical Golden Fleece was likely a real sheepskin used in gold mining, transformed through storytelling into a magical object worthy of heroic quests. The deeper meaning. So what does all this tell us about the relationship between myth and reality? First, it suggests that ancient peoples were far more observant and accurate than we often give them credit for. They were recording real events, real places, and real phenomena, just through the lens of their cultural understanding. Second, it reveals the incredible power of human storytelling. These were not just random tales. They were humanity's first attempts at preserving important information across generations. But perhaps most importantly, it reminds us that the line between myth and reality is not as clear as we might think. In our age of rapid technological change and scientific discovery, What stories are we creating today that future archaeologists might validate as historical fact? The next time you hear an ancient myth, ask yourself what truth might be hidden within the legend, because as we have seen today, sometimes the most fantastical stories turn out to be the most real of all. Thanks for joining us on Beyond Now. If you enjoyed this journey through the intersection of myth and reality, subscribe for more explorations of where we have been and where we are going. Until next time, keep questioning, keep wondering, and keep looking beyond now.